So they say crisis sparks innovation. It certainly is true looking back at the financial crisis. It was really the invention of the fintech industry. And let's see, right now, if you kind of look at what's been hot on the radar, mainly it's talking about Zoom and Teams from a technology standpoint. So it led me to question, have we had our innovation moment? Have we had our eureka? And I kind of thinking, probably not. I mean, there's one big thing that's kind of on the lips of a lot of people right now, and it's all kind of evolves around employee engagement, mental health, and general health. And I sort of considered, has anything that I've seen or heard successfully addressed that in the lockdown environment? You know, something different that's sort of aligned to that. I sort of recognise as well that after 8 or 9 weeks of doing Friday quizzes, the numbers start to wane down as people aren't as engaged anymore. So could our innovation opportunity be on that topic? Really considering that we don't know how long this is going to go on for, but also there are firms making some serious strides on adapting their employment mentality. You've got Twitter saying, you know, people can work from home from now on. You've got Barclays CEO saying they'll see a reduced dependency on the large HQ arrangements, and certainly considering downsizing Canary Wharf. They don't need as many offices around there if they're going to have more of a dynamic workforce and people working remotely. But what's the long-term impact? You know, rather than feeling like a sole delivery person working from a home office, how do you as an employer build that sense of family and that sense of belonging within a workforce that perhaps has never seen your office, where Teams' largest collaboration happens over a video conference and they haven't met in person? I mean, there's so much that goes on around social and, you know, going to the pub with colleagues, talking about stuff that's nothing to do with work outside of office time, and that whole social element that brings people together. How do you recreate that in an environment where it's not possible to actually meet? Or at least not as easy, because you're not going to a central location. And certainly if your employer, or you as the employer, change to a non-centralized workforce, how do you successfully maintain engagement and build that sense of community within the workforce? Indeed, how it might impact on the change to interview procedure. I mean, is cultural fit as important anymore? I mean, I've had many an interview in the past where people have weighed up the checks and balances of ability to deliver to the role and cultural fit, and cultural fit has been the winner because the person that actually was able to, in their view, deliver at a higher degree of output, a higher quality of output, or perhaps answered the questions better around that side of thing at the interview, they felt were going to rub people up the wrong way culturally, and so made the decision to go with someone who was a better team fit. Now, what if you didn't have to have that person working with you 8, 9, 10 hours a day, sitting next to you? Is cultural fit a thing? But moreover, also thinking about the sense to belonging, the sense of family, the commitment that you get from an engaged employee because they love the environment, they love the people they work with, and they love spending time with them. How do you substitute that in an environment where the technology is starting to show a few cracks with managing that engagement successfully and keeping people really positively engaged with your brand? So it says to me there's a gap or an opportunity in the market to do some very creative thinking to come up with some new ideas. Now, some people I've spoken to over the last week and a half, asking particularly around their employee engagement side and what their thoughts, feelings, and what they're experiencing with their own workforces. There is a commonality that engagement over the long term in this will be a challenge, and that sense of belonging may wane. So it strikes me that that may be where an opportunity to innovate stands. It'd be interesting to hear if your employer's done anything really sort of out there, different, done something to make you feel really valued, make you feel still part of the family, or even if you've joined a new company since the pandemic and you haven't had the chance to even see their offices, really interested in hearing your experiences, whether or not these companies have started to think about the long-term engagement piece and of doing stuff beyond the Friday quizzes, and actually coming up with some really creative ways of making you feel a sense of family within that organization. So if you've got some thoughts, please share them down below. I'm sure there's many a company and organization that would love to hear of your experiences and things, especially if they've been positive stuff and stuff that is different to what we're hearing in the mainstream or seeing on LinkedIn being shared about. And I'd love to hear from you to find out more about these things too. So again, just put a little comment down below and I'd be glad to engage in a conversation. Thanks very much.